Is that a snow globe?
Of sorts. Hey, look at that. It's a model of Tangle Tower. What are you thinking?
That would make an amazing souvenir.
Hey, what are you thinking?
That would make an what's in those bottles?
I'm not sure. Soil samples?
Sure, why not build a science lab in the corner of the library?
The search for new knowledge, the archiving of old knowledge. It's downright poetic. It's an illustrated
It's
book.
been left open.
Or it was left open for us to find.
Ever so slightly unnerving?
새 도감, 서재, 얼룩새는 놀랍도록 똑똑한 새로 조류 미스티드 중에서도 수명이 굉장히 길다. 다른 새들은 종종 얼룩새에게 공격적인 성향을 보인다. 따라서 얼룩새는 대부분의 생애를 홀로 보낸다. 이 새는 독특한 먹이 섭취 특성을 가지고 있는데 보통 탄툼 아미카의 열매만을 먹는다.
It's musty.
What exactly does that mean? What is must?
Must. You ask such stupid questions.
Nice. Sure, why not?
The CR's downright poetic. It's
What
must.
exactly?
You
Nice. Books about
Well,
insects.
theoretically, there's not a single book on that shelf.
Huh.
Books about geography.
Skip. Books about
These
ancient-
books are ancient history. I think they'd crumble into dust if I tried to pick them up.
Good excuse.
Thanks.
Books
These
about
books,
good
thanks.
Books
These
about
books, they'd
good
crumble.
excuse.
Thanks. Books about space.
They're relatively untouched.
It's musty.
What exactly?
You
Nice. Books about nature. A chalkboard.
Is this a library or a classroom?
Math equation.
Don't look at them for too long. You'll give yourself a headache.
Any idea what this means?
Not a clue.
I'm not sure I learned anything from that. A chalkboard.
Is this a library?
Math.
Don't look. You'll give yourself a headache.
Any idea what this means?
Not a clue.
Math.
Don't. You'll give yourself a headache.
Math.
Don't. You'll give yourself a headache.
I'm not sure I learned anything from that. Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time.
There's something about the image of Flora in the painting. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
We met Felix, your husband. He's one of our suspects, and he's so, if you want it.
Nice try. We spoke to your daughter Fifi. She's some kind of super intelligent scientist. You must be proud of her.
This is a photo of Fifi, isn't it? Your daughter? Have you seen this book? Do you know who it belongs to?
I really thought she was gonna say something there.
진짜 말 한마디도 안 하네.
So, this painting, specifically that knife in Flora's hand.
Yeah, it's creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room. So what's going on?
It's not a knife. We need a clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is.
난 모르겠는데. 편지인가? 편지 그 쓸 거? 그 뭐냐 잉크 쓸 때 이걸로 하지 않아? 그럴싸한 게 없어.
That's not it.
있긴 있는 거네? 그럴싸한 게 없는데. 뭘까 이게? 칼이 아니다. 칼이 아니다. 칼이 아니고 이 방 안에 있다. 그리고 이 물감에는 피가 들어 있었다. 붓인가?
That's not it.
아니래. 여기 이거구나. 아이고.
Let's take a closer look at
눈치
this.
못 채고 있었네. 그러니까 깃털은 맞았네 결국. 뭐지? 그려진 칼은 실제로는 깃털로 얼룩새의 것이다.
The painted knife is actually just a feather from an ink dip bird.
It's definitely the right shape, but the book's not in color. The thing Flora's holding in the painting is red and white, specifically. Is there anything to suggest that the ink dip bird is red and white too?
빨갛고 하얀 잉크색 어디 갔냐? 요거 얼룩새는 이제 얼룩새가 빨간색과 하얀색이다. 를 알 수 있는 것. 여기 있네.
This little thing? I don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird as part of a gift for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
얼룩새는 플로라의 애완동물이다. 그래서 깃털 몇 대를 기억하기 위해서 뭐야 이거 깃털 한 대를 기억밖에 없지 아마?
The ink dip bird was Flora's pet, so she kept a single feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe it flew away.
Flora spends all her time staring out the window.
Either way, she kept the feather. I think it was pretty important to her.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now? You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah, I think she does. Normally. This is where Flora usually keeps her feather.
But we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm. Completely empty. Flora? She's pointing at something in the corner of the room.
It's just a pile of books. They're not... Wait. There's something tucked inside this one.
플로라의 그림, 플로라의 탑, 플로라와 작은 새를 그린 그림. 뒤에 손으로 적은 메시지가 있다. 당신을 위한 거예요. 사랑합니다. 프레이야.
I like these drawings, Flora.
Is there a reason why you wanted us to see them?
말 좀 해봐요.
The whole room is a
Yeah,
strange.
there might be a reason for that.
전 오케이. 확인해야 될 게 있어.
What is
I think it's a family.
Fiona? We met her. She's one of the.
얘가 피피구나. 피오나 펠로우? 펠릭스.
Felix
We
Fell.
met him. He's one of the suspects.
플로라
Flora Remington.
We met her. She's one of the suspects.
레밍턴인데 결혼해서 플로라 펠로우가 됐고.
Felicia Fell.
Freya's mother.
Do you think she still lives here?
오케이. 포인터가는 아직 만나지 못했고. 자, 물어보러 가볼까? 결국 전 칼이 아니라 깃털이었다. 뭐야 이건?
A little hand-painted statue.
How can you
well,
tell?
the paint's also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
색칠된 조각상, 작업장. 검을 들고 있는 남자의 나무 조각상. 조각상은 직접 칠했지만 전문가의 손길은 아니다. 노란색, 파란색, 검은색, 흰색 물감이 근처에서 발견되었다. 아,
We already solved it.
My daughter Fiona.
삐삐가
Our little
피오나구나.
burgeoning genius. You've met her?
We did. She's going by Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her.
아우.
My daughter Fiona and her best friend. They grow up so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea.
뭐야?
That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. Where did you find that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd.
그럴 리가 없다는 건가?
These drawings are quite precious. I'm surprised Flora let you see them.
What happened to the bird? Did it die?
I don't know. Seems likely, though, doesn't it? I've been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it.
Do you paint them yourself, too?
I do indeed. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can. Of course, this particular.
Artifact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course, I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that.
하나 정도는 이 주변에도 있을 수도
So,
있고.
about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
초록색이니까 병들이 초록색이고 여기도 이것만 초록색이니까 이거는 프레이야 거 확률이 높죠.
Let's take a closer look at this.
프레이야의 빨간 물감통은 도난당했다. 몰래 뒤바뀌어 있었던 것은 펠릭스의 빨간 물감통이다. 하지만 이를 숨기기 위해 뚜껑이 뒤바뀌어 있었다.
Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
오.
This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure. So I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know. Perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment. But it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
So,
Nothing suspicious. Are you totally
Never said it.
Come on then, out with it.
한번만 더 볼까?
so,
Nothing totally
Never said
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accused?
It's not your-
What of? Look,
That's not the
we
end.
need something to... Let's take a closer look.
프레이가 꽤 많네.
Freya's red.
That red paint.
플로라한테 주기 위해서 가봐야 할 곳이 여기가 피오나의 방이지.
It's a magnifying glass. A big one.
How come you don't have one of those?
Why? Because I'm a detective? Should I start smoking a pipe too?
You couldn't pull off a pipe. I don't know what that drink is, but I bet it's 99% sugar.
I'd read you the ingredients, but there's nothing written on the can.
That's even worse.
What's that big book on the desk?
Looks like something Fifi's been writing.
Is it a clue?
I hope not. It's just a bunch of notes about her microbiology experiments.
It looks like a microscope. A big one.
Can I touch it?
Oh.
I'm not sure this is.
잘 만들었다 퍼즐. 너무 큰가? 아. 이게 맞아 보이는 걸? 맞지 않냐?
Nope, that was it.
Nice work.
굿.
Sounds like it unlocked.
Yeah, it's built on top of a little metal box. There's a book in here.
비밀 일기장, 피피의 방. 많이 봐서 다른 책, 일기처럼 생겼다. 기묘한 금속 장치로 잠겨져 있다.
A new suspect! Don't think you can get out being questioned just because you're a bear.
I'm innocent, I promise.
Save it for the judge.
I don't know what that drink is.
But-
That's even worse.
Fifi's got
What
something.
is all this?
이게 뭔데? 그리고 탐정도 있네?
Is that supposed to be me? Why do I look so angry?
That's just the face you make when you're thinking. Does make you wonder, though. When did Fifi draw all this?
That's you, Sally.
What? I do not look like that, do I?
Who's that?
Not sure.
I think that's supposed to be Felix. Who's that?
Not sure.
That's gotta be Flora.
Who is that?
No idea. Who's that?
Not sure.
Who's that?
Not sure.
Did you notice who isn't on here?
Freya?
Mm-hmm. And Fifi herself. Crystal chandeliers.
I don't know. They just seem old-fashioned to me. Plus, they're kind of dusty.
Crystal chandeliers. Extra fancy.
I don't know. They just seem old-fashioned to me. Plus, they're kind of dusty. Homemade posters. This one's about the Pythagoras theorem.
Ah, I've not heard of that band. Are they any good? That's a whole lot of books.
Boxes of stuff. Boxes of stuff.
Scientific formulas. Probably. I'll openly admit I have no idea what any of it means. Scientific formula. I'll openly admit that's a whole lot. A pretty ornate window with a great view of the lake.
We're supposed to be looking for clues, not assessing the real estate value.
And over here, you'll see the owners use sheets of paper to block out all that unnecessary natural light. A simple trick, but it really transforms the stuff Fifi's thrown away.
You gonna rummage through the trash can?
No, that is quite beneath me. Thank you.
I give it 5 minutes before you're in there.
Stuff
You
Fifi.
gonna? I give it 5 minutes before.
Stuff.
You gonna? I give it 5 minutes before.
It's a bed.
Barely. Box of stuff.
Nice room.
It's a mess, but yeah.
Nice
It's a
room.
but yeah.
크게 볼 수 있는 게 또 있을까? 없어 보이는데. 여기 가볼 곳은 많아 근데. 누가 있네.
There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off. A pointless little stone tower.
I don't know. Might be a good hiding place.
Want to play hide and seek?
I could be persuaded.
A little bridge leading back to the gardens.
It's a big stone dais.
Biggest one I've ever seen. First one too.
It's a big
Biggest
stone.
first one too.
It's a big
Biggest
stone.
first one too.
It's a big stone
I
die.
guess first one too. Whoa, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick Grimoire.
A private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Oh, nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya Fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception. Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the
How long have you been at Tangle Tower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are you...
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so? As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers was one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite. Towards the early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the Fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the Fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear. But sorrowful, mournful, I cannot say. 314 cases solved. 314.
많이 됐네.
Quite the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Flora Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky. Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious. Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, She had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, detective. Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable, but she has no ambition, no focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely. Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint.
너무해.
Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Where'd you dig that up?
It wasn't buried. It was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps? Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No?
No. Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking. You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty. A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
A diary. Have you read it?
Not yet. It's locked.
And you haven't attempted to force it open?
That would be cheating.
I'd tell him not to quit his day job. But he hasn't got one, has he? Does Flora still own that bird? Do you know?
Don't think so. The drawings are from a few years ago.
I see.
괜히 보여줬나?
A book from the library. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes. I admit, Freya was a talented young woman.
Someone even liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the photograph. They just wanted a photograph of Freya. Could be important. The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told? These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last.
그건 좀 도움이 되겠는데.
Is that a clock?
If it is, it's a clock with 4 faces.
I'm guessing it doesn't tell.
So what does it do?
가는 위치가 어딘지 모르겠는데. 아, 오케이. 아니라고? 아, 이거 시계구나. 바보네.
No, that was it.
Nice work. What's in the box?
A little tool thing? Looks like a telescope, but I'm not actually sure what it is.
작은 렌즈, 석조 광장, 동으로 된 작은 도구, 곡선의 유리 렌즈가 있다. 밑에 나사가 달려 있다.
Looks like it might be about Grimoire. You go first.
It's Tangle Tower, or at least it's the mansion at the base of Tangle Tower. A giant glowing gemstone full of plants.
AKA a greenhouse.
You ever see a mushroom that big before?
Not in real life.
Bushes.
It's a sea serpent turned into stone by a wizard.
If you say so. What happened to its head?
Beheaded by the same wizard. How long is that thing?
It's a big stone
I
dive.
guess when I first one too.
온실에도 한 명이 있을 것 같지? 오씨 깜짝이야. 무섭네.
Is that fruit? It's shaped like fruit.
Too shiny to be fruit. I think it's glowing a little too.
Safe to eat, do you think?
I'm gonna say no. Bags of soil.
It's so blue.
That's a handsome beetle. Looks like he might have magic powers. All the flowers here look kind of poisonous.
Can flowers be poisonous?
Anything can be poisonous.
Good to know. Is that fruit?
Too shiny.
think it's-
I'm gonna say no. Tools used by a gardener for gardening. Tools used by a gardener for gardening.
It's glass.
Total oxymoron.
I am not. It's glass. I can't see through it.
Total oxymoron.
I am not. This one's in a...
Okay, that is definitely not edible.
It looks like a gemstone. Don't you think?
화분의 열매, 온실. 화분에 열린 열매는 단단하고 표면이 원석 같다. 화분의 토양은 색이 비정상적으로 푸르다. 개파랗긴 하네.
All the flowers here look kind of poisonous. Anything.
Good to know.
Hanging baskets. They're so high up.
To you, maybe.
You're only 2 inches taller than me.
2 inches makes all the difference.
Hanging baskets.
To
You're
you,
only
2 inches makes all...
a little charred. Actually, I have no idea what it's. Kind of reminds me of a periodic table.
모르겠다.
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
빨리부터 물어보자.
Don't move. We're being watched.
Yeah, I see him. He's a little too big to hide in the bushes. Is anyone going to say anything? Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's better. I'm Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fitzfellow, the gardener.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
가네.
And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
You work here as the gardener.
I don't get paid to do it. It's just my area of interest.
What's the deal with the plants? They're all kinda weird.
Right. Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous. Not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Could you say that again, but like condense it as if you were talking to a slightly stupid person?
Our lake water causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA. Sometimes.
Alteration? Like mutation?
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No. I'm just the gardener. I was in my greenhouse, watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else around?
Not at first. Penelope came in a little later. She likes looking at the flowers, I think.
Did you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early afternoon. I went up to my room. Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside my room.
And?
Let me guess. Watering and weeding.
Right.
Did anything happen to you yesterday, Fitz?
진술을 들어보자.
I was up in the rooftop garden. It was quiet. And then, it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
We?
Poppy was with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She usually locks it from the inside. I knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody responded. We became concerned.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too. Penelope arrived shortly after that, with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
아,
She questioned me.
About what?
My work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell. I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone. She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind.
Have you met this guy, Fitz? Shifty eyes, doesn't say a lot. Totally suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, it was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see. Fifi doesn't like me.
What did you do?
I'm not sure. If you find out, maybe you can let me know. Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism,
펠릭스는
money,
좋은 사람은
property.
아니어 보이네.
But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation. This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gem-stony.
Sometimes. You never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny, inedible fruit?
You look at it.
깨르시 저기 맞나? 모르겠다.
It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate.
Freya's best work, in my opinion. Although the photo doesn't carry the same energy as the real thing.
What do you think it's a painting of?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting. Looks like someone doesn't want you to read that book.
That's the main thing making me want to read it.
You ever seen this before, Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her.
작은 렌즈.
Felix made that? Huh. Did Freya draw these?
Yeah. There's a note on the back too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized. Did Freya draw these?
Yeah.
She was... That looks like it might belong to Poppy. Paints are different.
I'd say so,
At
yeah.
any time, flowers can bloom with paint. Once you've not even the most skilled painter. There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly. That's
뭘까?
quite sweet, really. Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried, in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her, after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. How odd. It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about.
What were they
They
saying?
were arguing about. But I can't remember. Who gave you that information?
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be...
It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but
Fun story. That belongs to Poppy.
So, why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure.
물어볼 건 다 물어봤고.
Fitz's room is unlocked. It's up in the fellow tower.
this could be interesting.
헐, 개 무섭네. 더 확인할 건 없는 것 같고 픽스의 가게도나 한번 보러 갑시다. 뭐 여긴 아니지만.
What is
I
that?
think it's a family.
피츠는 이제
Flint
A
Fellow.
period randomer, though.
Do you think he still lives here?
펜트 펠로우와 에밀리 에베스톤 사이에서 태어난 사람이네요. 한번 가보죠. 와, 정말 아무것도 없네.
An empty glass and an empty plate.
Looking at it is making me want to cry.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
What?
It's a big empty space. Oh, wow.
What?
It's a big empty space. Huh. neither of these lights have an actual light bulb.
They're just decorative.
Oh, so decorative. Doesn't look soft. It's a little handmade card. Inside it says, "To fit." It's a little handmade. Inside it says, "To fits" from PP.
PP? 걔 피피잖아. 심지어 그 친척이고.
That poor plant.
Looks pretty healthy to me.
Healthy, but sad. I think it would rather be outside.
There's someone outside.
Something outside. It's probably just a
Are you
rock.
sure?
Hello.
Not hidden very well, is it?
Doesn't need to be. It's locked. It's a
Oh.
combination lock, sort of.
그러니까 어디 보자. 씨발. 찾았다. 아닌가? 맞는 것 같은데. 아. 모르겠어. 이거 뭐지? 무슨 퍼즐이지 이게? 그러니까 또 새로운 모양이 나오네요. 물방울 모양이었고 처음엔.
Nothing.
Maybe if you move the paper.
Still
I
locked.
think the lines drawn on the
That was.
It's like a jigsaw.
That was.
It's like a jigsaw.
That
It's like a jigsaw.
That
It's like a jigsaw.
틀렸다는 건데. 모르겠다. 이거는 확실히 이게 맞고 이것도 이게 맞아. 이게 문제인데 아까 그 물 모양으로 다시 가보자. 완전히 물 모양이야. 이 모양이지. 한 번만 더. 이게 좀 뾰족하지 아무래도.
That's done it.
Neat. Anything in there?
Yeah, it's wrapped in a cloth. Hold on. Huh. That's kind of ominous.
Oh. 얘가 FF지. Fits fellow.
We already solved it.
장식 패턴이 있는 원예용 모종삽. 장식된 모종삽 피츠의 방. 장식 공격 패턴이 새겨져 있으며 하트 모양의 양끝에 글자가 있다. PP 하트 FF.
Doesn't look soft.
Quit sulking. Not every room is going to be full of clues. Quit sulking. Not every room is going to be full.
There's
Something.
Are you sure? It's locked.
I thought we were halfway up a tower.
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
와우.
Nothing.
The tiles have all got that.
Those moon symbols. and
Maybe
stuff.
they're connected, but also
Nope.
maybe
So where is it?
somewhere else.
Ah,
You know,
what? The whole
yeah,
thing?
the duality of the
If
sun.
you say so.
모르겠다.
Ah,
You know,
what?
yeah, the duality.
If you say so.
Let's come back once we.
Ah,
싼
some things.
오케이. 뭐 할 수 있는 게 없어
Quite,
보이네.
not every room is going to be full.
사람들한테 좀 물어보러 다닐까?
Fitz? Nice. Slippery. Never commits to anything.
Onion.
did you two have an...
No, no. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. Why don't you ask Fiona? Looks like her. Why would someone lock up a...
We think it's a secret diary.
Aha! That looks like it might belong to Fitz. I've never seen that. Looks foul.
특히 도움되는 건 없었네.
More maps?
No, they're just
Oh.
blank.
아 이게 석조광장 그 자물쇠에서 찾은 거구나.
Do you and Fitz have any other than your...
What do you think of your husband's hobby?
Do you have any hobby?
말이라도 좀 해봐. 피피한테 한번 가보자. 누가 범인일지는 잘 모르겠어. 아직까진 제 3의 범인이 있을 수도.
Curious.
내 부인 소행이 아닐 수도 있단 소리지.
Name, Hotshot. Age, likes, quote, dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a... Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 20. Likes, soil, dislikes.
Hang on.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine,
Do you and Fitz not see eye to
we
eye?
do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So, what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking. He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife.
아,
Name, likes.
Hang on.
That may well.
Do you and
We
Fitz?
do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well...
So, what's your problem?
Exactly. He was making every effort to avoid.
So?
He was also carrying.
아.
Quite the cat. Fellow member.
Is that a real...
No, you know.
Has she questioned you
If you
yet?
call that questioning, she seemed. I heard on the ground something called the. Honestly, it's
You reckon?
quite sure
How do you know?
because I would have heard of it.
The floor is covered in...
We spoke to Hawkshaw. I assume
She-
I bet that really ticked her off.
Anything we should know? Any hobbies? Besides...
우선 여기까지.